I'm Mike Dewdney, Director of Cloud and IT at Uptime Legal, and I'm going to be answering questions about law firm IT. AI has the potential to bring massive change to the practice of law and how firms use technology. There are immediate opportunities to gain some efficiencies and automate repetitive and error-prone work, like document coding, for example, and summarization. There are some capabilities to improve document drafting and do comparisons, but there's also significant risks. Lawyers have to understand the tools that they're using. That's not strictly an IT function. They really must understand what it's doing, especially when they're using it to effectively outsource the work that used to be done by a professional. A lawyer has to comply with their obligations to protect their clients' confidential data. This is a huge gray area with lots of AI tools today. You cannot have your clients' confidential data used as part of an AI prompt that ultimately may become part of the large language model that the AI engines are using to provide their material. That confidential information may at some point appear in somebody else's query results. And yes, this happens. This isn't just a theoretical thing. There's lots of examples of this happening in the real world. Today, automated opinion and document drafting is fraught with landmines. At best, AI is like a first-year associate. They can do some good work. They're also likely to make lots of mistakes, and their work has to be scrutinized and validated by a lawyer. Worse, AI can actually have hallucinations. It's always going to try and answer your question, but if it doesn't have real information, factual information to base its response on, it'll make things up. It'll connect things that shouldn't be disconnected and come up with new fake information to provide to you. And it looks very compelling and real. But this is a rapidly evolving field, and firms just need to look past the marketing hype and look to real practical tools from trusted vendors that they can deploy to their teams with appropriate guardrails. I think the worst real-world consequence that I've heard about recently is a lawyer who filed a brief with the court that they had used AI to draft. And it turns out that most of the cases that they cited in that brief were fake. They were made up. They weren't real. They provided a great-looking brief. I think that lawyer was ultimately disbarred. I would caution them, first of all, must ensure that they are training their staff appropriately in terms of their obligations and to what their local bar association or the law society says about how and when AI can be used and how it should be used safely. Those organizations will offer advice such as you must ensure that you're not including any confidential client information in those prompts that are being provided to those engines, particularly ChatGPT in a free account or a paid account. There are tools who will treat the data you include in a prompt as private and confidential, and by contract will ensure that it's not being included in the large language model ultimately. But it's not easy to determine that. Lawyers really need to do their due diligence and make sure that they read and understand the terms of use and the agreements that they have when they actually use these tools. So that's all the questions we have for today. For more insights on law firm IT and cloud technology, make sure to subscribe and visit uptimelegal.com to learn more about our service.